Okay, so we want to make a spreadsheet to track a budget. So if we're looking at our project document here, you can see we have a material list with cost per material, and then we have a budget of $100. Uh, I realize those prices aren't realistic, but I guess in a way they are. So let's try to make a budget that we can use and track. So I'm going to go into Google Sheets. This is pretty simple. Go over here, go to Google Sheets. It's really important to learn how to use formulas in Google Sheets because that's where it becomes really useful. So I'm going to go with blank spreadsheet. Okay, I'm actually going to give it a name. Let's call it penguin dwelling. Oh, I hit a button. Budget. Okay. Delete that. So I'm actually going to leave this first row open, okay? Because I'm going to use that for labels in a minute. So I'm going to start down here, and I'm going to do column headers. I'm going to start with material because we're going to list all the materials. And then I'm going to go with unit cost. And that's going to be the cost per material piece. All right, so I want the unit cost label to be actually justified right, like this. You don't have to do that, but I think it looks nicer, and you'll see why. This is going to have numbers on it, under it, dollar numbers actually, and those are going to line up from the right to the left, unlike words. So let's go ahead and list all our materials. Again, they're all listed here. So I'm going to just kind of type them in here. We've got the felt sheet. We've got construction paper, paper, foam sheet, bubble wrap, then we've got aluminum foil, we've got mylar sheet, and we've got metallic cups. Oops, I don't have to capitalize that. I'm very particular. Metallic, I'm misspelling it here. Metallic cups. We've got cotton balls. And by the way, there's two. You get two of those when you purchase them. So I'm going to put two in parentheses. We've got popsicle sticks. And same thing, we get 10 if you buy those per unit. And then we've got plastic cups. Plastic cups. Okay, now some of these spill over lines, so I'm going to just go up here, just hover and drag this over, and that gives me a little bit more room. Looks better. It's always nice to make your spreadsheets look nice and neat. So unit costs, let's do that. So I'm going to just type these in. 15, hit enter, 5, 15, 10, 5, 5, 3, 2, oop, didn't mean to do that. This one, cotton balls are supposed to be 2, and then plastic cups are 5. Okay, and double check that. Yep. Okay. Now you'll notice that it just put the number in. That's what it does by default. Really easy to change that. So I'm going to just select and highlight all those cells, and I'm going to click on this button right here, Format as Currency. And again, you can see how it formats it on the right side. That's why I moved unit cost over. Okay. So I want it to kind of have two sections here. I want to have proposed materials. So this is what my group would want or think we're going to use, and then I want to have another section for the actual materials, which is what we actually use. So let's just start one section at a time. We'll go with proposed materials, okay, and we're going to need to do quantity, and then we'll do subtotal. I know all of these are going to be numbers, so I'm going to go ahead and select this whole thing like this, just a bunch of them. And I'm going to change my alignment to the right because I already know they're going to be numbers. So now when I click in here, it wants to make a table. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to ignore that by clicking this reject suggestion. If you don't have that suggestion, great. I do, so I had to get rid of it. All right, so let's just be hypothetical here. Let's say I want my proposal or my design to use, we'll say, one felt sheet, two construction paper, one foam, two bubble wrap, three aluminum, we'll say two mylar, metallic cups, we'll say, I don't know, we'll put 5 for now. Cotton balls, I'm going to use none. Popsicle sticks, I'm going to use 3 units, so I'm going to actually get 30 popsicle sticks, but we put that in as 3 units. Okay. And then plastic cups, we'll say, I don't know, 1. I don't know where I'd use it, but I'm going to put in 1. So those are the quantities. Now we want to know what each material is going to cost based on those quantities. So it's a very simple calculation. So if we click here, we'll just start at the top. We want to put in a formula. There's ways of going over here to the functions, and you can do formulas this way. You can look at that on your own time, but for me, it's very simple to just type in the equal sign. Again, you have to be selected in this box or this cell. Type equals, click on unit cost, and then click the time symbol, which is here, and click your quantity cell. So unit cost, type in the time symbol, and then put the quantity, and then hit enter. And you can see it's not only did it enter $15, which is correct, 1 times 15 is 15, but it also suggested that you autofill. Now I can click on this and it'll automatically do it. Yours might not have done that, so I'm going to show you how to do it on your own. So let's say I have this one done. Instead of going through and typing each of these formulas, they're all going to be the same. They're all going to be multiplying the unit cost times the quantity. So I'm going to click here, and here's a little trick. See how this little blue button lights up down there? If you click and hold on that blue dot and drag down, it'll automatically apply that formula to each of these cells. And just to be sure, if I click here, it says the formula up here, B4 times C4, B4 times C4. Down here, it should be, because we're in the 9th row, it should be B9 times C9. So B9 times C9. So it does it correctly. It's always good to check, but it's nice to see that it does it that way. Now we better add this up because I'm a little worried that I might be over budget here just looking at these numbers because our budget's 100. So let's start by giving this a label. I'm going to call this total. Okay. And then I'm going to do a summary of all of these. Okay. This time I am going to use this button. I'm going to go ahead and click in this box because that's where I want the formula to go. I'm going to click on functions and then sum. Now it is not sure what it wants me to summarize. So I'm going to go ahead and click here and drag down and hit enter. And as you can see, I'm over budget. We'll fix that in a second. All right, so budget. And then I'm going to hit tab to move over. 100. And then my balance, this is what I have left over in my budget. And I'm going to use a formula again. I'm going to click here and type in equal this, the budget first, minus this number. Okay, so budget minus my total, hit enter. And you can see I'm $11 under budget. So I'm going to have to make some changes. I'm going to change the metallic cups to 2. See what that does. Still $2 under. What else can I get rid of? Let's go with 1 bubble wrap sheet. So you can see your budget might be a little bit tight. I'm going to go with 1. And there you go. I have $8 left over. Because we get to make multiple versions of the penguin dwelling, you're going to want to leave a little bit of money in your budget in case you make changes for your second iteration. You want to have some balance left over. Okay, so this looks good. That's my proposed materials. Here's a little trick to make it look a little bit better because the proposed materials title up here really encompasses these 2 columns. I'm going to click and hold this one, drag over to the next one, and click this little button here, merge cells. And what that does is it turns these 2 cells into one. Okay, now I can do a lot of retyping and reformulas over here. It's easy enough to do, but just to make things a little bit easier, I'm going to go ahead and select this whole thing. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to click here. I'm going to leave a column space, and I'm going to Control V. Okay, so what that's done is it's made a copy of everything. All right, but here I don't want this to be proposed materials. I want it to be actual materials. Actual materials. Okay, I'm also going to take these two cells. I'm going to hold down Shift and click both of them, and I'm going to change that to centered. That way it's centered right over each one. I can also even make it underlined. So if I go, where's my format? Well, I'm just going to Control U because I know that'll do it. Okay, that's just making it look nice. You don't have to do that. All right. The only problem with copying this over here is if I click in the cell here for subtotal, you'll notice that it has the wrong cells selected for my formula. I don't want E3, which is here, times F3, which is here. What I actually want is B times F. Okay, so I need to change that. So I'm going to go ahead and delete, okay, and I'm going to type in equals my unit cost times, and this time I want this quantity, not that one, this one. Enter. Okay, again, click here, click on the dot, drag it down, and you'll see that it's right, because remember our quantities, I copied those over. But the nice thing here is now I can make changes. Let's say I want no construction paper, and I want back to 5 metallic cups, maybe 2 sets of popsicle sticks. You can see I can make changes to the actual quantities that I use, and the balances are different. Okay, so again, this is your proposed materials, these quantities times these costs. Then your actual materials, this is what you actually use and purchase with your play money when you build. You're going to have these quantities times these unit costs. Okay, these don't change. Those were given to you in your project document, but these will change. Okay, we could have a third column to indicate materials that you add to this as you do your second iteration, your second build, or your improvements. But really what you can do is when you go to actual materials, let's say you build this and you decide, ooh, I want to add another sheet of Mylar for my second version. You just simply click here, change it from 2 to 3, enter. And you can see that that still left me with $6 left to make further improvements. Okay, so I hope this helps. This is a nice way of setting this up. It's good practice to get used to using spreadsheets this way with formulas. It's very good for organizing yourself, especially when you get into financials as you grow older. The last thing I really need to do here is share this. You will share this with your group mates, but simply click up here, change the restriction to anyone with the link, and then I can type in people. So like, I don't know, I can put in Mr. Blomberg. So, Blomberg. So if I want to add that to him, I don't want to send this right now because he'll be very confused by that. But anyway, you can notify people, send them. You should probably include me on that. But otherwise, at least send these to your group mates. And again, change it to editor so that they can know what your budget is and what you've used. So I'm going to hit cancel because I don't want to do this. And I'm just going to hit done. Okay, so I hope that helps. This is making spreadsheets, and this will help keep you organized. Enjoy it.